everyone for attending this presentation, for your interest in our franchising business. My name is Abdelghani Balashia, known for Bell, Dr. Bell. I'm the founder and CEO of Stemtree. If you're here today, you probably understand the interest and the need of what we have of this kind of business in today's market. Children education business is one of the fastest growing businesses today. There is so much need for this business in the market. We are here to serve working parents. We are here to inspire kids, and we are here to serve our communities. And we have developed a very unique curriculum that serve our students, and of course create a profitable business for you as a potential franchisee. I'd like to summarize a little bit and give you some basic information about Stemtree. So Stemtree is a K-12 science and engineering before and after school programs. So we're not a school, we're not a daycare, we're not a preschool where you may need so much and may need a higher investments, a lot of certifications. So we are a before and after school program. We do require brick and mortar operation. However, as a franchisee, you can combine and add home-based mobile version to the business. And I will talk about that in more details in my next slides. As a franchisee, you can be a very active owner, or you can be semi-absentee to a complete, absentee owner. And you can also, own more than just one location. So the business is scalable. I will share with you my experience as a founder. I will also talk about the different revenue streams that can be generated by Stemtree, by our business model. I will share with you the curriculum that we have developed in the 4 different areas: science, coding, robotics, and electricity and electronics. I'll also share with you the education model that we have adopted at Stemtree that personalize the instructions for every kid in each one of our programs. I'll share with you the territory requirements, and of course talk about the different revenues, talk about the support channels that we offer our franchisees. So a few recognitions about Stemtree in the news. First of all, we're located in our HQ location. The headquarter location is located in Northern Virginia, in DC area, close to Washington, DC, an area where is well known for the high education standards, if you want, a lot of educated families. And we are very blessed to be recognized by those parents as the best summer camp to go to 5 years in a row. That by itself speaks very highly about, one, our curriculum model, curriculum, two, our education model, and the quality of service we serve our parents. As of last week, one of our locations in Enrichment area, Midlothians, was also recognized as the much loved STEM programs in that area. Again, some of this recognition, best STEM program in the whole Washington, D.C. area, and some of the recognition in local newspaper. As a founder, I have spent all my life in STEM. I've been in STEM education almost since, I do remember from high school probably. I have a bachelor and a master's degree in electrical engineering and computer science. I was lucky to get a Fulbright scholarship. So I'm a Fulbright scholar. That allows me to, get another master's degree and a PhD in computer science. Been in education for over 25 years. And I was also CTO of a software engineering company in Northern Virginia, had my own IT consulting firm. You can see that Stemtree is the little I know, try to put everything together at Stemtree and put all my 25 plus years of experience in STEM to create a very unique business model and a curriculum for Stemtree. As I say, one of the requirements is to have a brick and mortar operations, and we will definitely work together with you to identify exactly where you would like to open your location. And we do require retail space, 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. And we, in one-on-one conversation with our franchisees, we would talk about why that size, why, why a brick and mortar operation, for that matter. We will help you find the location. If you don't have a commercial real estate agent, definitely we will help you negotiate the lease. Lease negotiations is a money savings, and we can talk about that again for whoever is interested in knowing more about our franchising business. So as a STEM person, and when I decide to create, the business itself and the franchising, I looked around. I've analyzed the market and looked at whatever exists in nationwide and worldwide, and I found that most of the businesses have three things in common. One, most of their curriculum is activity-only curriculum. Two, most of them will offer their program in a traditional classroom settings that doesn't work, and that's the reason why today we have a deficiency in STEM workforce, if you want. Three, a curriculum that either has one or maybe 20 different concepts that none of them would have a vision where they want to take the kids, where they want to take the kids beyond that's just STEM activity factor. So we've created a proprietary curriculum that goes beyond just STEM activities, a curriculum that includes elements of problem solving, critical thinking, teaching kids the science and engineering concept behind these activities while the kids are having fun. Education model. Today, in science, in coding, in robotics, and electricity and electronics, the four programs we have, we're the only franchise that has assessment, learning plan, meaning customizing each one of these four programs to every kid at each grade level. So the assessment help us identify the knowledge level of the kid. We cannot today assume that the kids have no knowledge about coding, or they never done coding, or you just pack them in a class of 10, 20, 6, 20, whatever number of kids, and these kids have different knowledge level, different grade levels. Some of them are bored, some of them are finding this too difficult, and some of them they don't know where to start. So assessment helps us exactly identify where that kid needs to be in that program at that grade level, and customize the learning plan. So the learning plan has three benefits. One, we make sure we never repeat anything on the kid. Two, and I'm sure you don't want a kid going back to their parent telling them that, hey, mom, dad, I've done this before. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to go to that place. Two, the learning plan can be used to conference with parents. So, hey, want to know what my kid has done? This is a great tool to use to conference with parents. Three is for you as a franchisee. The learning plan can help you run the business as a semi-absentee or absentee. Even if you can teach all the four programs, you cannot teach 100 kids. You're going to need instructors. So the learning plan is the roadmap for every kid in each program, and it helps you as a franchisee run the business without being a computer scientist or a biologist or a chemist. I personally am not a biologist, and yet we do have a biology program, a science program that is used from K to 12. So because we're personalizing the learning for every kid, so we have gone beyond traditional classroom setting. We do one-on-one instructions, and this model gives families flexibility to schedule, to first of all join your center any day of the month. They don't have to wait for a start date and date of the class. And if they miss the start date, too bad. And if a kid misses a session during that class, they lose that knowledge, and it's going to be very hard for them to pick up and the flow of the class. So this education model gives flexibility for parents to sign up any day of the month. They come on the 20th of the month. You prorate. They start right away. They schedule the time where they want to bring their kids during the week, with flexibility, of course, so the kids will never lose any knowledge of any one of the programs we have. So a few words about our curriculum. As I said, in the space of, I would say, STEM, I can say that probably there are 3 different schools. You have franchise that are remedials, or I would say business that is remedial, meaning the kids needs that business, needs that topic, and they have to go, otherwise they fail, they need to get a B or A, whatever they're looking for. We have enrichment, and we have, of course, a hybrid of the two. At Stemtree, we cover both. We have programs that are remedials, where the kids come in because they're failing or because they need help, and we have programs where the kids are having fun. We call them the enrichment program. So at Stemtree, we have focused on science and engineering program, and we developed a very unique curriculum in science, in coding, in robotics, and in EE, electricity and electronics. The reason we did that is because the kids get so bored when you just give them the same concept over and over and over again. People come to me and say, Dr. Bear, you're a computer scientist. Why can't you just do coding, for example, or clinical robotics? I say it's not about me. It's about inspiring kids. It's about giving kids a chance where they can combine the science and engineering to solve real life problems. We do have activities that combine science and robotics, coding and robotics, EE and science. So this gives a much richer, environment for the kids to learn more about STEM concepts in general. We do require brick and mortar operations, and you can run all the services from your locations. And by the way, when we started in 2010, we only had a mobile version of the business. That doesn't scale. And luckily, with this pandemic, we have moved to a brick and mortar operation. Today, we're serving families that they have to go back to work, and then their kids need to still attend their online classes, and families are bringing their kids to our location. So you can generate revenues within your location, and I'll talk about that in a second. However, you can scale up your business throughout the whole territory. You can go to community schools, you can go to community centers, you can go to schools, you can go to rec centers, churches, anywhere you want.
Hey, Dr. Bell, Patrick here real quick. I saw churches. How would you scale through churches, for example?
A lot of churches have either Sunday school, or during summer, they offer camps for their kids. So we go there and we offer camps or after-school program at those churches, community centers, rec centers. You're familiar with Spring Hill. We're so successful at Spring Hill Recreation Center. We're in Vienna Community Center. Today we're doing, right now we're doing a winter after-school program at the Vienna Community Center, for example.
And how does that work? Do you have to pay rent when you go there, or how does it? Do you have to pay to be in these amazing rec centers like Springfield? I'm very familiar with.
Yeah, very good questions. The majority of them, I'll tell you about different. We do have a combinations. For example, rec centers, it comes through. They get a cut basically. We negotiate with them what we want, and then they charge an extra for their fees. For example, they charge $250, we get $190.
That's solid.
That's for the majority of these locations. For schools, we don't pay nothing.
Okay, so schools, you're not paying to operate in the space. Rec centers, they're adding on. You're part of the equation, and then they're just adding on, and the end customer, the student or the parents, basically paying for that.
But the schools we go to, we also support them indirectly through their 5K race. We sponsor their programs. So it's a relationship. It's a win-win situation with schools. But we don't pay for space.
Okay.
So as you can see, as a Stemtree franchisee, in addition to running services from your location, you can scale your business and bring revenue from those satellite locations. Those satellite locations are basically the home version of the business. Now, parents, they believe in you, they find you, they come to you. And as a matter of fact, the center becomes like a place where people may come to you, they try your program, they recommend you to schools, they recommend you to other places. So it's and another thing about these satellite locations, they're not just a source of revenue for your business. They are huge marketing opportunities for your business. If you go to school, the PTA or the PTO will promote the program. Hey, Stemtree is coming to do coding. Are you interested? So they send an e-blast. They put that on their newsletter. So everybody in that school, 700 families, 600 families, now they know about Stemtree. So it's a great marketing for your business. So in addition to revenue, you also get high visibility of within your community, of course. Very quickly, we do offer different programs within the centers and out centers. We do have the monthly membership. By the way, we are offering also after-school program with pickup. It's not a requirement. We don't require our franchisees to offer pickup, but we strongly recommend it. And it's a great source of revenue for our business. Camps throughout the whole year. Spring break, winter break. Even if you're in an area where it snows, we have snow day camps. Okay, and we also offer tutorings for upper middle school, high school in biology, in chemistry, physics, and computer science. Out center, we also offer after-school programs and camps, birthday parties, and I invite you to visit our Facebook page to learn and enjoy some of the birthday parties videos that we have posted. Now, to make it easier for you as a franchisee, it looks like so many enrollment program, we have developed a very unique operation model, if you want, where we use the same curriculum wherever you go, whether you're at school or in the center. That gives the same experience for the kids, so they are not surprised if they come to the center. They will see the same schedule, the same curriculum, whether they are at a school or they come to our center. Same curriculum that is covered by the same instructors, so who've received the same training, cutting down in your overhead of getting those instructors ready to show. So my instructors can go and teach at a school or an after-school program in the center. They can also work at a camp, whether in or in our out center. Like everybody else, being an IT person, something we try to take benefit from. So we create and manage a website for your business. We will also give you access to our IT platform to manage your financials, lead students, families, instructors, and of course, have 24/7 access to our curriculum. Marketing and advertising support, I don't have time here, but if you are interested, I will share with you a portal that we have developed that has every single artwork you need to promote your business. And you will have 24/7 access to this portal. We do campaigns throughout the whole year. You will have everything you need, from your business card to your flyer to postcard to even social media artwork to promote your business on either Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Training, we don't assume that you have a business. You have like you've run business before. Most of the franchisees probably may never had, run a business before. So we take everything into considerations. During our training, we talk about hiring, we talk about education and operation business, we talk about marketing, sales, operation. We do role play. We run a workshop on how to run every single programs we have, how to prepare learning plans, assessment. So it's a very intensive week where we cover every single aspects of the business, whether it's marketing, whether it's education, or whether it's the day-to-day operations. We also offer in-field training, to help, our franchisees. You can send your instructors to our location or any other locations that close to you. We also have done a great, work on instructor training programs. So even if you're a computer science person or a STEM person, instructors, you probably might never assemble a robot when you were a kid. So we don't leave anything uncovered. We offer a training program for the instructors in each one of the 4 programs we have. We have a day-to-day operation, so they can help you. So the instructors will help you run the business as a semi-absentee. They know how to sign in kids, how to sign up kids. They know how to basically take care of running off the floor for you. You're not going to be interrupted.
How do you define semi-absentee? Like realistically, the first year, how many hours worked per week? The second year, how many hours worked per week?
I would say we have, a little bit of both. Okay, so what I tell my franchisees is, if you can find time at the beginning, in the first 6 months to a year, to market, be there, promote your business, that would be great. And you don't need to be an instructor. And I hope you're not interested just in being an instructor. So you're interested to building a business. And so I would say a couple of hours, maybe, I would say 10 hours a week, to allows you to introduce yourself to your community, to promote. And as you probably know, Patrick, today, most of the marketing is digital. So you can do it at 9 time. You don't have to have a certain time of the day to do it. So I would say a few hours a week, for about 6 months to a year. We have, for example, franchisees that are couple. They have full-time job. They have, kids, 10 to 12 years old, and they are doing fantastic. They're doing one of our best franchisees in the system. So you can run it. Now, if you want to run it completely absentee, then you can hire a manager, but you have to have, fundings, of course, for that to run your business. And, but again, this type of business is franchising is very simple. We don't ask you to be at the location from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. This is an after school program. And it's an after school and before, if you're interested. So with the training program we have, makes it so easy for the instructors or the lead instructors to be able to run your business while you're not there. So in terms of investments, this year, the initial franchise fee is $39,500. If you're interested in buying more than one location, the second location will be $25,500. Okay, very reasonable, having 4 different programs with all the thousands of lessons that we have developed for our program. This is a very competitive initial franchising fee. Total investments, I would say, and by the way, this gap here between 70 and 150 depends on the lease negotiations. We have helped some of our franchisees to negotiate the lease. They've got their location built out for free by the landlord. That's a saving of almost $50,000. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's possible. We have 2 franchises right now. They're in the process of building their locations. We help them negotiate the lease. one of them is getting almost 60K, the other one is about 40K. So it is possible, but sometimes franchise landlord doesn't want to budge. They don't want to give any money towards the build out. So we on the average, you would need $120,000, as an initial investment to run your business. The franchising agreement, which is the contract that's going to be between you and Stemtree, is for 5 years. Unlike all the other existing, or most of the existing franchises or businesses, we don't have a renewal fee. We don't charge you if you decide to stay with us for another term. Again, unlike the other businesses, we don't have a termination fees. Things happen in life, and you may want to end the agreement before 5 years is up, so we don't penalize you. Some other franchises may charge you a monthly fees, for the number of remaining months. The fourth point is, if we create new programs, everything would be yours. We don't charge you for new programs. Royalties is 8 monthly, and the royalties, by the way, for those who you might not familiar with the royalties, is what you pay the franchisor is off the total revenue of the business. It's 8% monthly fees plus 2% marketing.
Dr. Bell, the royalties, what's that going to? Developing the curriculum, other support and training? What do they get back with that 8% royalties, which is pretty standard for the education industry?
Exactly, and especially for when you have 4 different programs. So, of course, to create new programs, to maintain and update, as you know, technology changes, right? Every single day. If you don't keep up and update your program, then you're going to be behind. You're going to find a kid who knows a lot more than what you have in your curriculum. We don't want that to happen. So, of course, developing your curriculums, updating what we have, training, So, and 2% marketing fee, to be honest with you, Patrick, doesn't bring much. So we don't have a marketing fee like other people do. They would charge you monthly. So we invest in from our own money to promote, our brand. We collect 110 monthly fees, monthly IT fees, and if we organize an in-person convention, we will collect $250 per franchisee per year. If there's no in-person, then we don't collect any conference fees. We do also, monthly, bi-monthly, basically conference call with our franchisees. Again, that covers all what we need for. Any question, Patrick?
I have a few more questions, but I think you can wrap up the presentation, and I have a couple of questions.
Sure. So validation process, I will keep this in details. I'll talk about this in details for those who are interested in learning more about Stemtree. But like everybody else, there's an NDA, there's an application to make sure that you have the fundings to own the business. We will share with you the FDD, which stands for Franchise Disclosure Document, and the franchising agreement. That's the main contract that's going to be signed between both of us. And of course, we do Discovery Day like everybody else. What's going on right now, we are doing virtual Discovery Day. And by the way, this validation process is here for both of us. We want to give you a chance to make sure that this is where you want to invest. This is the business you're interested in. That's the right business for you. And also, we want to make sure that you are the right person for our Stemtree family business. So it's a two-way street. So we will talk about more in depth in this for whoever's interested. And by the way, again, I don't want you to understand that, that if you sign today, tomorrow you'll be opening your business. No, it takes time. It takes 3 to 6 months from the time you sign the franchising agreement to the time you open the business. So if you're thinking about opening or owning a business by, let's say, summer or back to school for next year, this is the right time to invest. And that those are my contact information, and that ends my presentation.
Perfect, Dr. Bell.
I'm ready to go beyond 15 minutes.
So yeah, just a few different questions. who do you guys compete with? Is it like mom and pop individual tutors, other big franchisor brands?
Good questions. I usually, how can I say, in a political way, right? So you only talk about what you have and what you believed in and your business. But to be honest with you, Patrick, if you, I've done research all my life. I have 80 plus papers in research that I've done. So everything I do, I research it. By the way, the orange color and the blue colors are there for a reason. Orange is the color of engineering. Blue is the color of education. So everything they do, I have to research it. So I want to be different. I want to create a business that differentiates us from whatever exists in the business. For example, we're the only franchise today that has assessment learning plan in the 4 programs. I'm not talking about math. I'm not talking about readings. I'm talking about these 4 programs: science, coding, robotics, and double E. Second, we're the only franchise that has these 4 programs with a long-term vision for the kids. This program we have has helped us keep kids and have kids with us for more than 4 years. There's no franchise today in the market that can retain kids that long.
So are the other ones really just focused on like remedial education, SAT prep? They're not as focused on, having an adapting curriculum?
Yes, going back to what I said, in this space, there are 3 types of businesses: remedial,
Okay.
enrichment, and a hybrid of the 2. So the remedials, of course, if I have a problem with my eye, I go to an optometrist, right? So you go to a specialist, and I have no problem with that. If your kids is needs something, then you're going to take him to a specialist, right? So we do have remedials, but not in all the disciplines. We are focusing on science and engineering.
Okay.
Enrichment, there are so many players in the market. A lot of people want to do robotics. A lot of people want to do coding. A lot of people want to do a combination of both, right? So if you take all of these businesses that are in that space, none of them has assessment, none of them has learning plan, none of them has a long-term vision for the kids. They are all STEM activities based.
Okay. And some of them are truly just an activity that they just do once, and they're not really, there's no lesson plan that's tied to it.
We have developed our own lessons plan with objectives. Every single lesson we have has the why elements, why we're doing it. We're not only doing the activities, but as I said, we've gone beyond just the activity itself. We're giving a chance to the kid to be more creative, to do their own activities, learn using what they have learned in that lesson. So that's a big differentiating factors from existing businesses.
And like, what type of franchisees excel? So you mentioned a couple of these existing franchisees where it's a husband and wife, they have full-time jobs and they're hiring a day-to-day manager. Do you have people that mostly come from an educational background? Like, who are the best? What's the profile of your best franchisees, or the ones that you think that are in the system that will thrive?
Like, as you know, Patrick, being successful has so many factors in it. Okay, so you don't have to be in education to be successful. And as a matter of fact, if I go back to the franchises we have, none of them has been in education.
Okay, none of them have PhDs in computer science. They let the curriculum to you.
We have MIT graduates
Okay.
that come to our business and pick up, our franchise, pick up our business. So we have engineers, we have IT specialists, people who believe in STEM education, people who have seen what STEM education has done to their kids, people who probably have some of the programs at home and they know the benefits of, of what STEM activities have done to their kids. So I would say, you have to like the space.
So genuine passion for education, particularly STEM education.
Exactly, and make a difference within your community. And if today, that's the future, right? Maybe 20, 30 years ago was a vocational experience today, the vocational space is STEM. You're gonna need an IT person. You're gonna need an engineer. You're gonna, so this is.
And what's the capacity? Like, when does someone need to open up another center in the area? Like, how many students could you be having in one of these 1,600 to 2,000 square foot centers?
Well, scalability doesn't depend on the center. Scalability depends on, we want to go beyond. If we want to take over another territory, for example, right? Okay. We have a franchisee who recently signed, and he signed up for 2 locations because he saw the benefit, the potential of the neighboring territory. So the total number of students is limited by your space. And usually I talk about that with my potential franchisees, why we pick 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. There's reasons why we do that. But if you want to scale your business, you're gonna go beyond your territories. And as you probably know, the benefit or the profit comes from multi-locations, not from a single location.
Sure. And how many students? 100 students, 200 students in one of these centers?
Again, if you do, because we schedule kids coming in on an after-school program, that can be, we do that an hour and a half. That can run of a space of 1,600. You can have basically 30, 35 kids every an hour and a half.
Okay.
In that. However, you're limited by some of the camps where we have the kids at the location. So that will dictate the total number of kids you're going to have at token. But if you charge $500 a week, and if you have 30 kids, that's a $15,000 a week. That's not bad.
Not a bad business.
Not a bad business.
And are the students, so sometimes they're doing a summer camp where it's like a flat fee, but are most students on like a recurring weekly or monthly plan? How does that work?
Yes, we have to secure, of course, a continuous, revenue monthly. Okay, so we do monthly membership, and that's the after-school program that we have, where you can drop off your kid for an hour and a half sessions.
Okay.
And then you have the pickup, and then you have, of course, the camps throughout the year.
The camps that you guys have won all the awards for.
Man, you know the area, Patrick. You're from Vienna, so you know how highly, very, competitive in Vienna area, right?
Exactly.
So to be voted the best summer camp to go to 5 years in a row, that's unprecedented, right?
That's impressive. Yeah, Northern Virginia has some of the best public schools in the United States, so really impressive. And tell me a little bit about how do people finance this investment? Is it all cash? Do some people use an SBA loan? I know we have a few clients seeking the E2 visa through Stemtree, but how about for those Americans that are investing in Stemtree? Can they get SBA financing?
Of course, we are registered with SBA. We provide them all the information they need. Some of our franchisees have an SBA loan. We provide them with all the paper they need. Okay, so that's, you don't have to have all the cash in hand, but
do you have
a
minimum? How much should someone realistically have to open up a Stemtree? Like 100,000, more or less?
If you're gonna be eligible to get a loan, like an SBA loan or HLOC, then I would say 60, 70 in hand.
Okay.
It's not bad if you can guarantee, if you can get a loan down, that's what the banks will look for,
and
right?
The general range now, it's increased slightly for 2021, but it's like starting at around 70,000 and going up to 150 in terms, and that includes working capital.
Yes, it does work in capital. One of the things and that's the reason why we help our franchisees in negotiating the lease, because when you negotiate the lease, as you probably know, you have to ask for free rent.
Oh yeah, until you're fully operational in the first 3 months.
That cut down your operation costs, right? Operating costs, right? So we get at least 3 to 6, between 3 to 6 months free of rent.
Okay. So
we negotiate an allowance towards the build out to build your location to look like a Stemtree locations. And as again, it doesn't happen all the time, but it does. And when it does, it's a great support, of course.
Oh yeah.
So that will cut down the operating cost, the initial operating cost.
And how long is it taking, if they do like aggressive pre-marketing and they're following your, franchise operation manual, how long to break even? 3 months, 6 months, 9 months? What's like a general range?
Yeah, we have a range of, breaking evens, like, time. We have some who have broken even like in 6 months, some in a year. It all depends. And we tell that to our franchisees is it depends on you.
Sure.
When you want to break even. If you want to break even earlier, then you have to invest.
Okay.
You have to invest in your marketing.
Time and money up front.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you do that,
pre-marketing, the network with the churches, with the recreation centers.
Absolutely. We have a franchisee who she already asked for a flyer where she's signing her lease. You know what I mean? So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
For somebody who's going to be aggressive, somebody who's going to be there, somebody who's going to pre-market the business. If you want to be successful, you have to invest. You have to put some dollars in your marketing. And we tell that to our franchisees.
So time and money up front will fast track the break even, essentially.
Absolutely.
You're going to get the students in the door that are paying that monthly fee. You'll be known for the summer programs
Absolutely. You can have people. I have, for example, one of my first franchisees, he had kids sign up before he got the location, the keys for the space.
That's great.
So, he has kids sign up for pickup before he bought the van.
That's huge. And so you founded the first mobile unit in like 2010, is that right?
Yes.
And then the physical space in Vienna in 2014?
Correct.
And why did you decide to franchise after that?
We started franchising in 16, not at 14. So when we opened our first location in
so why after that 2-year period, instead of just opening up more locations that you own and operate, why do you decide to go the franchise route?
That's a very good question, Patrick. So my objective is inspire kids. I've seen what STEM has done to me in person, given my background, given where I come from, given my economical background.
Yeah, you've been able to live around the world and succeed in academics, entrepreneurship, and as well as corporate life.
Absolutely, and that would not have been possible without somehow, God knows, maybe something comes from the sky that helps you pick STEM, go STEM, and think about STEM at a very, very young age. So I know that we have, and we are changing kids' perception of, the way they're going to view their futures. We have kids today, girls, who are interested more and more to STEM. Half of our students in our HQ locations are girls.
That's great. So with franchising, you can reach more students at the end of the day. Absolutely. You couldn't be opening up in Texas or California if it was you out there operating.
Absolutely. And then, if you can inspire, and again, we're not trying to prepare kids to get a job next day.
Yeah.
It's not about just the job. It's not about, because somebody might come to you and says, well, I don't want my kids to be an engineer. I want him to be an artist. Yeah. Or, so STEM is not just because these kids will have an engineering job 20 years from today.
But there's creativity in robotics, coding. A lot of that will pass to other facets.
I wrote a paper, Patrick, about the impact of STEM activities on the cognitive abilities of the kids. So if most of the initial tests that the kids will take to be in advanced academic program, what are they? Like, take a pre-K, take a kindergartners, take a first graders. Most of the tests that are given to these kids to see if they can be in an advanced program are tests that have sequencing in them. Color, rearrange this object, follow this pattern. And those are the core of STEM. We give steps and sequence of a kit to build a robot, the steps to build a program. So indirectly, you are helping the kids improve their problem solving, their problem solvings and their skills.
Okay. So this transcends to other academic areas as well as just general life skills.
It does. It does indeed.
Okay. And what regions? I know you're strong in the DC, Virginia, Maryland area. We have a client opening with you in Texas. What areas of the country are you interested in opening or targeting?
We are trying to, as I said, bring basic science and engineering to life everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, so we are open and we are registered in most of the states, and we are here to serve, those, first of all, franchisees who would like to make a difference in their communities. So we are today, we have 2 locations in Ohio, and we are 2 in negotiations. And we're talking to other 2 more people just by itself. I mean,
Okay.
we have a potential through you guys, thank you, in California, Texas, 2 just recently. So, you know, by the way, Atlanta, it's gonna be. We have already won.
Great.
We're so close to get, to sign up somebody else in the same area. So, STEM is the future. STEM is the new enrichment activities besides
Do you do better? Do you do better when the school district's strong and has like strong science and technology curriculum at the elementary school level and middle school, or do you do better where there's that void?
Um, I mean, it's a combination because the schools, if your schools already have, like in Northern Virginia, most of the schools now have an hour of STEM,
Yeah. Okay.
like an hour of music. So
Sure.
that becomes like that helps us and saves us a lot of time to explain to
Educate.
I mean, why it's
Parents.
important, right?
Yeah.
Parents, why it's important. So that, as a matter of fact, is a great thing to have in your community. But if you don't, a lot of people today have, they understand the benefits of STEM. They today at least.
Well, I could imagine a lot of like private schools and religious schools don't have STEM necessarily, and the parents are going to want to get that education for their kids.
Absolutely. One of the programs we run it with one of the 2 Catholic schools in the area.
Okay.
And you probably know one of them, the old GC, the Old Lady of Good
Oh yeah,
Company.
my old church.
Yeah, exactly. So we've run the program there for so many years.
That's great.
And so many parents who are coming in here to the center. We also Saint Mark in
Oh yeah.
that's also, we've run the program there for so many years. So
Okay. So you can kind of almost they can outsource some of their curriculum to you and just handle for you to handle it.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of our franchisees was contacted by a Montessori school to use our science program.
Wow.
By the way, when I say we have science, we don't have just activities. We have a curriculum from kindergarten all the way to high school.
It's huge. I didn't know it went to the high school years as well.
I know exactly your high school, right? Yeah, so we do have, a very strong curriculum, not just like collections of, science activities that we do with the kids. So we are more, it's educational and fun.
And so I just have a couple more questions and we're kind of wrapping up at the top of the hour, but how have you guys adapted? It's almost been a year now, February 2021, that we've been in this COVID-19 pandemic. How have you guys done? How have the franchisees, have you guys adapted?
Very good question. Today we're here.
Yeah.
That's very important. That's an achievement by itself, right?
Exactly.
Well, it's been a tough year, for all of us. It's not just in business, but just regular life. So business comes in second. Um, you're lucky today if somebody in your close to you has not, is if you're very lucky if you have somebody close to you still alive. So businesses comes in second. However, since the pandemic started, I remember 2000, March 12th, 17, schools start closing. We have created a totally new online program to support our kids, because that's very important. And the reason why we had to develop the online program is we have a saying at Stemtree is we don't want to repeat anything to our kids. So we have hundreds of activities and hundreds of lessons, but we did not want to pick up from what we have and give it to the kids, because you don't know who did what, since we're personalizing all the programs to every kid. So to avoid that situation, and I don't want the kids to tell their parents, Mom, I've done this before, now they're repeating things on us. So we have created over hundreds of online classes in science and in coding, because that's the only two programs you can do online. So we run that for about 3 to 4 months. But to be honest with you, Patrick, we're lucky to have a brick and mortar operation. Very, very lucky. As you probably have seen on my LinkedIn, one of our location was voted the most loved STEM program in Midlothian.
Wow. Yeah, I saw that.
And to be honest with you, I visited in person that location a couple of months ago. I was shocked to see over 15, 20 kids in that location. And I talked to the lady, and she says, I'm more successful in this pandemic. And
the
lady,
parents don't, especially if both parents are working from home and you have two people working full time, it's tough.
And they can't work from home.
How do you handle the kids
and
when the schools are closed?
Yeah, and they cannot from home. And if they do work from home, they need to work and not babysit the kid.
And I heard private schools, and especially the Catholic school enrollment's gone through the roof. So I imagine that benefits you, because you're doing the science curriculum for them.
Absolutely. So we have parents who are working from home, yet they are bringing their kids to our center a couple of days a week, so they can concentrate on their meetings, on conference calls. They have a first graders, second graders cannot sit still and be online without being supervised, So we were lucky to have the brick and mortar operation. It comes with a price, of course, of rent. But I think you pay whatever it takes to stay alive and to be present, to serve your communities, to serve your parents. And that's what's going to stay with us in a couple of more months to go.
We have a question from Muhammad. He's asking, is the business eligible for the E2 visa, and do you support if a person intends to establish a franchise and apply for the E2 visa in that process?
Absolutely. So thanks to E2 Visa, Patrick and his team, we have signed a franchisee in Texas who's coming from Peru on an E2 visa. So one, we work together with him to identify where they want to open their locations. Number two, we found a commercial real estate agent local that is now, he's working with him right now to identify and to work with him to open his locations. We are negotiating the lease and the letter of intent, that's basically the lease for his space. So yes, you will get our support. We are immigrants, so to me it's an honor to help somebody else fulfill their dreams, to be able to come to this wonderful country and bring their kids, themselves, and have a new life. So you would have all our support.
Yeah, and Mohammed, if you're interested in investing in Stemtree, we can also connect you with that immigration law firm who's based in Texas that has done an excellent job in terms of preparing the petition and how the investment's structured to be eligible for the E2 visa. And
in addition to that, not just the immigration lawyer, but also you guys have a great team to prepare a business proposal, which is great, that supports your E2 visa. So we will work together, to make sure that you have all what you need for your E2 visa.
Yeah, to make it as smooth as possible. All right. How do you see, it was one last point we're seeing, in the end of the 20th century, you had a lot of outsourcing of blue collar jobs. And now we're starting to see with this pandemic, multinationals and smaller companies alike are offshoring some of their white collar jobs. So whether that be people doing client service or different types of functions, marketing, there's bright people now across the world, not just here in the United States. So how do you see it? How is this how do these programs potentially help give a good foundation for these kids to, be critical thinkers and to not, to really stand out on the global workforce, not just the US workforce, as more and more jobs in this remote living and this remote work style can be run from wherever?
That's exactly, there's a saying that says, if you probably know the COVID book by COVID, the 7 habits, the 7, seven habits, whatever, right? Book.
Yeah, what is that book? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, that one?
Highly effective people, exactly.
Yeah.
He says that if you want to change the fruit, you're going to change the root, right? So this is what we're trying to do. We are now preparing kids for whatever we need, because when the kids now, I've taught at the university for more than 20 years, right?
Wow.
And I've taught computer science, and I've, in my one-on-one introduction to computer science, you would find 30 kids, right? 30 students. You turn around on campus, then you meet somebody and says, "Hi, how you doing? What are you doing?" "Oh, I've gone through this major." "Why?" "Oh, this is not for me." There's nothing else, there's nothing that was born for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when today we have seen a lot of changes in STEM field, if you want. Today we have most of high schools, at least in our area, are taking computer science at high school. So it's great. So they are bringing that. They are not afraid anymore of, the first computer science program you do when you're in college and you have no preparation for that. You're not going to blame, those students. You're going to blame the educational system. You have to prepare those kids way ahead of time. So today, if the kid is doing coding when he's in first grade, second grade, and by the way, Patrick, I insist to have our program starting at kindergarten. We have coding for kindergartners.
That's good.
So, and we have done a great job in introducing that for that level, for those kids at their own knowledge level. So if you introduce that, back, early in their children's education, then it becomes a second nature to them, right? I mean, when they're coding, they have done coding, so what? Bring it on, right? So that would help at least people who would like to, measure and choose a STEM field. They're ready for it. And I think
by the time they've gone through Stemtree for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, they're pretty well versed in a lot of different facets in the STEM space.
Absolutely, and they're ready to make that decision if they want to if they choose to be in STEM field.
No, makes sense. Dr. Bell, well, this has been a true pleasure. Do you have any closing thoughts for someone that might be interested in opening up a STEM franchise, or someone that's just interested in this industry overall?
Yes, children education business is not just a business. It's a business where you definitely, trust me, you're going to make a huge difference in your community. You're going to serve those kids. You're going to help other kids fulfill their dreams. So we're here to support you. If you're interested in Stemtree, and if it's not the right business, we'll tell you. If you're looking for something else, trust me, we want your we want you to be successful. We're not trying to get anybody to our franchising. We want to make the right people. We will help you make that decision through our discovery process. Please feel free to email, call with any question you may have. We are here, and we eat, drink, and sleep Stemtree, and we're here for whatever you need.
Perfect, Dr. Bell. Well, thanks again for taking the time to join this interview, and appreciate all the work you've done so far for our clients. And we look forward to seeing your ongoing success, as well as the success of the new franchisees through Vetted Biz and Visa franchise that are slotted to open up.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for the invitation. It was a pleasure, and we appreciate the work you guys have done with us, and the referrals. And again, thanks for the invitation.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it, Dr. Bell.